All right, today we are diving into a really big one, maybe one of the most hyped tech updates in years. We're talking about Apple's massive plan to completely overhaul Siri. For a long, long time, Siri has felt kind of stuck in the past. Well, Apple is now betting big on generative AI to completely reinvent its voice assistant from the ground up.
But first, let me ask you something, and I want you to seriously think about it. When was the last time you asked Siri to do something complex and it actually worked? I'm not talking about setting a timer or telling you the weather. I mean something truly helpful. If you're struggling to think of an answer, you are definitely not alone. And that feeling right there is exactly why this update is happening.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to look at how Siri got so stagnant. Then we'll talk about the generative AI revolution that's basically forcing this change. After that, we'll get into the good stuff, what Apple's answer is, what this new Siri can actually do for you, and finally, why this whole thing is such a massive deal.
Okay, so to really get why this is so important, we have to rewind the clock a bit. Let's dig into how Siri went from being this incredible, futuristic pioneer to, well, let's be honest, kind of the butt of the joke sometimes.
I mean, think back to 2011. When Siri launched, it felt like pure magic, right? A real voice assistant in our pocket. But then the competition showed up. Amazon dropped Alexa, Google launched its assistant, and they just got better, faster. They were more conversational. And Siri, it just kind of stalled out, never really figuring out how to handle context or do more than one simple thing at a time. And this, right here, this really hits the nail on the head. The promise was this brilliant personal assistant. The reality? A simple tool that has the memory of a goldfish and gives us that all too familiar, sorry, I can't help with that. It's been frustrating, to say the least.
So, what lit the fire under Apple? What's the big catalyst here? Well, that brings us to the technology that has completely changed the game, the generative AI revolution. This stuff changes absolutely everything.
So, what even is generative AI? Well, the easiest way to think about it is that old AI was like a robot following a very specific script. It could only say what it was programmed to say. Generative AI is more like an improv actor. It can understand, think, and create brand new content all on its own. It can hold a real conversation, summarize a long article. You get the idea. Here's a perfect analogy. The old Siri was a calculator. Super useful for one specific thing, but that's it. The new Siri, powered by this new AI, wants to be that brilliant personal assistant, someone who can not only do the math for you, but then write an email about it and schedule your meetings. Okay, so this incredible new technology is out there and the pressure is on. So how is Apple finally answering the call? Well, here it is, a complete top-to-bottom rebuild of Siri for iOS 18. What we saw previewed at their big developers conference is that Apple is building its own AI engine, its own large language model, and weaving it deep into the iPhone's operating system. The whole point is to move way beyond single commands and focus on real, natural conversations and handling tasks with multiple steps. All right, enough of the backstory. This is what we all really want to know. Let's get into the specifics. What can your new, souped-up digital assistant actually do? Okay, the single biggest, most important change is this. Siri will finally have a memory. It's going to understand context. You know what that means? You can ask follow-up questions without having to start the entire conversation over from scratch. It's a total game changer. So let's look at a real-world example. Before, you might have said, read my last text. Fine. But now you'll be able to say, summarize my missed notifications and texts from this morning. See the difference? It's not just reading anymore, it's understanding and synthesizing information for you. And check this out, because it gets even cooler. The new Siri can connect different apps together. You could say something like, summarize the meeting I missed, which pulls from your calendar, and then text the key points to Sarah, which uses your messages. That's two different apps, two different tasks, all in one single seamless command. And the list of new superpowers just keeps going. Imagine being able to summarize news articles or PDFs on the fly, or getting way more granular control over your phone settings with your voice. And maybe best of all, just having a conversation that feels, well, human, not like you're talking to a robot. Now, just a quick reality check here. We should probably expect some of these really advanced features to be labeled as beta when they first roll out. Apple will likely make them opt-in so they can keep working out the kinks with real-world users. So let's wrap all this up and talk about the big picture. Why does this upgrade really matter? Because trust me, this is about way more than just making a voice assistant a little less annoying. This is the fundamental shift right here. Siri is transforming from a simple command taker into a truly proactive assistant. It's going from a tool that waits for you to say the magic words to an assistant that understands what you actually mean. It's the difference between a gadget you use once in a while and a partner you rely on every single day. One last super important detail. To make all this AI magic happen instantly and crucially privately right on your device, it's going to take a ton of processing power. And, well, that means that many of the coolest and most advanced features will probably only work on the newest iPhone models that have the chips to handle it.
Which brings us to the final billion-dollar question. Apple has hundreds of millions of iPhones out there. If they get this right, this isn't just another update. This could be the moment that a truly useful, genuinely smart AI assistant finally lands in everyone's pocket. The promise is huge. Now we just have to see if the reality can live up to it.